The annual Frieze Lecture Series is a 23-year partnership between the Rock Island Public Library and Augustana College. This year, that series takes a closer look at pandemics. Kai Swanson from Augustana College joined us by Zoom with more about that in today's On the Record. Great to see you, Kai, as always. Let's get right to it. What is the Frieze Lecture Series and how did it start?
Thanks, Jim. It's a pleasure to be with you. The Frieze Lecture started in 1998 as a way to celebrate the long partnership between Augustana and our hometown's great public library. By the way, the image you see behind me is a depiction of the library in its earliest years when it opened about 1903. It's a lecture series featuring Augustana faculty members talking about subjects of interest to the broader public audience, and it's free and open to the public. Usually we hold it in the community room of the beautiful library building. But of course this year we're doing it Zoom just as you and I are talking now. We started by looking at the names of writers whose, well, their names are inscribed around the frieze, the top of the building there. You can't really see it on that picture. And a lot of people were wondering, who are those people and why did they choose them? So the first series was about them. The second series, because all those names were of men, was about women who probably should have been on the frieze in 1903. And ever since, we have covered a universe of ideas, and it's been great fun. And I think the public has really responded to it well.
Well, we appreciate the custom Zoom background behind you. So what kind of topics has the Frieze Lectures covered over the years?
Well, sometimes we look at anniversaries. So when Augustana had its 150th, we took a look at that. When the city of Rock Island had its 175th anniversary of incorporation, we had a great series of talks about that. Sometimes if there's a great writer or musician or an artist who's got an anniversary, we'll take a look at those too. But otherwise, we will keep an eye on what's going on in the news, and that was part of the inspiration behind this particular series this year.
Yeah, we mentioned this year's series is about pandemics. What do you expect to get out of that? How are you going to explore it?
Well, we've already had a great start, and don't worry if you missed the first one. You can see it on either the library's or the college's YouTube channels just by searching Frieze, F-R-I-E-Z-E, and you'll find it. But we wanted to take a look at this great global pandemic of 1918 and why historians really don't remember that much about it, or they didn't record that much about it until much later. And we're wondering if there are parallels between what happened then and what's happening now. Now, our next one will be next Tuesday. You can join free by Zoom, watch the library's Facebook page. Will be by an epidemiologist on the faculty at Augustana, talking about some of the public health concerns that we have to deal with, not just with COVID and coronavirus, but all sorts of lesser known viruses and public health challenges that are confronting society today. The first one, our historian, Lendell Calder, hit it out of the park, and I hope you'll join us next Tuesday too.
Quickly, why do you say these programs are important?
Well, it's a great bridge, right? Rock Island doesn't seem to most residents to be a college town, but to Augustana, we are very proud that Rock Island is our hometown. And we have undoubtedly the most beautiful historic library in the Quad Cities, the one that Frederick Weyerhaeuser built in 1903. So it's a reminder that this is a treasured resource, and we want people to come to the library, but also remember that their hometown college has considerable resources. We want to make them as freely available as possible. So we hope everybody gets a chance to enjoy at least one Frieze lecture.
Sounds interesting. Kai Swanson with Augustana College. Thanks for your time. Always a pleasure to talk with you, Kai.
Great to talk with you, Jim.
Now, if you missed any of this conversation, we have that available for you online at ourquadcities.com.